Stay tuned to this episode of Voice of Rio with Dean Donna Mitchell and myself, Dean Heather Duda.
Hello, and welcome to Voice of Rio Grande. I'm Dr. Donna Mitchell, Dean of the College of Professional and Technical Studies, along with my co-host, Dr. Heather Duda, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Hello, Heather.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
I'm great. It's been a beautiful day, and it's just nice to see the sun shine and the birds sing.
It is indeed. How are things going in the College of Professional and Technical Studies these days?
Probably very similar to your college. They are busy. Everybody is in a flurry because before long it'll be finals week and graduation's coming up, and everybody's getting ready for that. We have a new simulation center that's come online, and everybody's busy getting upgraded and started out on that, and their students are learning to use it, and so it's an exciting time, but it's always an exciting time at Rio.
It is exciting, and I always love the ebb and flow of the academic year. There's always something new, there's always something going on campus. There have been already some great activities, some concerts, some other opportunities. Do you know we're going to have an opera coming soon?
That's what I hear.
Yes, it's going to be great. So if you're interested in opera, and I believe it is an English language opera, so there won't need to be subtitles. That's coming up before too much longer.
Wonderful. Well, I'm also excited because we have a grad forum coming up.
We do.
So our students can learn about grad school, because many of our students are now getting ready to graduate and thinking about next step. And so we are so fortunate to have somebody here with us today who can tell us more about that. Natasha Sperry. Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on the show today.
Oh, you're welcome. I love talking about it. I've been talking everybody's ears off about this forum. I'm so excited to finally have it tomorrow, you know.
Do you want to start by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be involved in the Graduate School Forum?
Well, I'm the vice president of the psychology club here on campus, and I only became involved in the club really because I met Shannon Dalton, the president of the club, and she was so open and social, and so I was like, you know, I'd really like to be involved with somebody like that. And so I started going to the events, and I was like, you know, these events are pretty cool. These events are very educational but also fun. And I went to the forum myself last year, and I said, I learned a lot from this. I'd love to do something like this one day myself. So sure enough, whenever I became an officer of the club, I said, of course, Shannon, I would love to help with the forum. She kind of, you know, looked at me and said, does anybody want to help with the forum? I said, of course, yes. So I thought, okay, well, what can we do? So we took all the feedback from last year's forum, and I tried to apply it the best that I could. There was a lot of feedback from a lot of different angles, and I really appreciated the feedback because it helped me, you know, get everything together and get my thoughts in order and have an outline ready. And so after meeting with my psychology faculty and meeting with Shannon and the other officers, I finally decided, well, you know, I think I know what kind of angle I want to go with this from. So this year we're doing it panel style instead of the previously just having speakers come in and speak and everything. That way it's more involvement, and I'm hoping the students enjoy it a little bit more.
That's great. You know, this is is it the third or the fourth year for the panel, for the forum? I want to say maybe it's the fourth.
I believe it's the fourth, if I remember correctly.
And each year it seems like, what you said, I really like what you said about feedback. Each year it seems like you've taken the feedback and you've tried to incorporate that feedback in following years. And I know that the first one, in talking with some of the people who've been involved, and I've been involved a couple of years myself, it was this perception that it was for psychology majors, but I want to congratulate the Psychology Club this year especially for really being very conscientious about saying this is for the entire Rio community. So first of all, I want to applaud psychology for putting on a campus-wide event. And then I want to say kudos to you all for really wanting to be inclusive in that way. Can you talk a little bit about why you wanted to be so inclusive of the whole campus community?
Well, we feel like it's almost not fair, you know, to have an event like this that provides so much information and so many good resources and everything for grad school in general, that I didn't feel like it was right, Shannon didn't feel like it was right to have an event like that with all this information that didn't include everybody on campus whenever everybody can benefit. Mm-hmm. So I invited all kinds of faculty from all over campus, from every single corner of campus. We went all over, walking everywhere. We are doing a drawing for a prize, encouraging our faculty to get more involved as well as our students' attendance. Mm-hmm. And we're doing it panel style so that all of these people who are coming from outside of psychology and even faculty who are coming just to show their support, they can ask questions that, you know, it's not just psychology. So, you know, it encourages a bigger discussion. And so we've had a lot of people from all these different majors and all these different faculty members, and even people who aren't even students here anymore. We have alumni students and faculty coming and everything. And I'm really, really proud of all of our hard work and everything, because it's really paid off, and it's been months planning, and we've been planning since like December. And I just feel like all the students should really benefit, because I know whenever I started here, I had no intention of going to grad school. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know I had to if I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And so I feel like a lot of students would really benefit. And so it was very important to me to make sure that everybody knew. And so we advertise campus-wide. We have emails going everywhere, and we have enlisted the help of every single faculty member here on campus.
That's a great outreach.
Mm-hmm.
I know in addition to the Grad Forum that the Psychology Club does other activities also. Mm-hmm. Could you share some of those with us?
We recently did have a workshop that was hosted by Dr. Rogers here on campus, and it was this one was for psychology. It was a psychology grad school application workshop. So he went through all the individual parts of a workshop, mm-hmm. and he helped them. We sat down at the computers, and we actually started doing them and encouraging our students to go ahead and do this. You don't know if you're going to go to grad school later, you might as well have the mm-hmm. materials ready. We just had a picnic with the other behavioral sciences, the social work club, and things like that, who all came together, and it was a very nice community event, I would say, you know, to have all these people from different majors and things coming in, mm-hmm. and bringing their own information and their own, take on things. And we had David Dean over there grilling, and so we had stuff from the bookstore, we had social work, we had, a psychology club and everything. And we had people who were just walking by who just came over, and it got people talking, and it raised, awareness of the behavioral sciences here on campus. And we always have a fall picnic as well, so we always have that to raise awareness for the club and the psychology department. Mm-hmm. And we have just random events here and there. We have our meetings. We're going to a conference next month up in Columbus and staying for a day or two. And sometimes we just carpool to events. Like there was a Temple Grandin talk mm-hmm. Last week, I believe it was, and we planned on going to that. And although things kind of fell through and some of us couldn't go and everything, we've been throwing all these events out there for our members and everything to really encourage involvement, so that you kind of branch out. And the more connections you have on campus, the more that you acquire from your educational experience here, I think.
Absolutely, those relationships are so important. Mm-hmm. They just, I think, enhance the academic experience and the college experience mm-hmm. in general. So I applaud you and the organization for being so intentional about the way that you're trying to engage others and your peers and the entire campus community. Can you tell us a little bit about what someone would learn if somebody's thinking about graduate school, or maybe like you, they aren't aware that they need to go to graduate school? How might you entice them to come to the graduate school forum? What sort of things would they learn?
There was a lot that mm-hmm. is covering. I've actually kind of broke it down into, if I was coming in as a student who had no idea what the forum was about and who had no idea about anything about grad school, what kind of questions would I ask? And so I, came up with a list of things. I was like, here's the things we need to cover. So as far as preparation, how early do I need to start? Do I, what is the GRE, and things like that? What all goes into an application process? How far ahead of time do I have to apply? The cost and how to afford it, and even for non-traditional students, we have really considered on how to appeal to them. How, if you have a family, or if you've taken a break between high school and now you're just now going to college later on. And so we're trying to branch out to every corner of life that we possibly can. And I've considered all of that, and so all this information is going to be provided for them, and of course any additional questions that they do have, we have a very strong panel of faculty that are going to be in attendance, and they will be able to, one of them will be able to answer any questions that anybody has.
Great.
And the options are many more than they were when I went to graduate school, because now there's the option of doing a hybrid track, an online track, a face-to-face track, and so those are some things that the students will start to explore as well, and I'm certain that you have people who can speak to all those different modalities.
We have, I believe, 1 or 2 current grad students. We have some who graduated just a year or 2 ago. We have faculty who work with, grad students or helping them apply, who have experience with helping them apply. So it's very involved, and so I'm really excited to see what the students bring to the experience as well as the faculty who are going to be there. So we have everything from grad student to a faculty, faculty members who haven't been in grad school for a while but have many, many other things to bring to the table.
I was thinking, as you talked about the different majors that you're trying to bring together for this forum, and the different majors that came together for the picnic. And when you get out into practice, as you've probably already learned, collaboration is critical.
Oh, yes.
And interdisciplinary collaboration is becoming more and more important. So what a wonderful time to start when you're students at Rio, and you can start valuing one another's profession and their input into what might happen with your clients or the people you're serving in your professions.
I know, when I started here, I was the sit in the back, the farthest seat from the teacher. Don't say anything, never raise your hand, and keep your head down, and maybe nobody will talk to you. And so, I mean, that's how I thought I was going to get through college, was I said, I'm just not going to talk to anybody. And then, again, I met Shannon, and I wouldn't say I felt pressured, but I definitely felt like, well, I guess I'll give her way a shot, what's the worst that could happen? And then I've definitely benefited from having other people here on campus. My grades improved, my overall experience improved, and my personal outlook on life in general really, really improved, because I knew I was like, I'm not doing this alone. And that's not just the club, that's the department. The psychology department really brings people together. You really get to know your faculty members. They're very available to you. Sometimes I don't even set up a meeting, I just show up at their door and I'm like, I need this from you. And they're almost always available. They're very responsive to emails, in person, anything you really need. And I feel like I've really benefited from choosing the smaller college life. I knew I wouldn't fit in a really big college where I don't get to talk to my professor when I need to. So this one's very personal, and you can really get to know your faculty, and they really get to know you, so you get a lot more out of the experience.
So that might be what you would say would be one of the strengths of our psychology program here at Rio. And you've taken, I think you shared with me before we went on the air, almost all of your psychology classes already.
Yeah, I'm only missing, I believe, 2 or 3 right now. For my entire senior year, I only have 2 or 3, and I'm just going to fill in some electives. So I would say it's pretty consistent over all of the classes. You get the same experience from all of them, even despite how the teachers all teach differently. You get used to it immediately, and they make you very comfortable, and they do what they can to help you. And I feel like you don't really, if it was a big college, you wouldn't get the same experience. And I really applaud myself, pat myself on the back, for choosing a college that really suited my personality and I really feel like it would suit a lot of other people's personalities to be in a department where your faculty is responsive and everybody is always back behind you ready to help. I know I'm a mother of a 2-year-old, and I have people who are always right there willing to help if I don't have a babysitter or if my kid's fussy, if I have to bring her to campus. They are always right there to help, and that takes a huge weight off of my shoulders. And my faculty let me, they let me bring her to meetings if I need to bring her. They are very, very helpful to the non-traditional student, which we have a large number of here on Rio's campus, because we are mostly a commuter's college, you know. So I feel that I've really benefited, and that I'm really happy that I ended up in the psychology department here.
Good. I'm going to ask you what might be a difficult question. Of all the classes you've taken so far, is there one class that you would say was your all-time favorite class?
Well, I feel like it would be different for everybody. I personally really enjoy, I'm in a class right now, abnormal psychology with Dr. Lackey. I'm sure she will be very happy to hear this. But you learn about every disorder. You read the DSM-5, which is something that actual people in the field use, and so it feels like, this is more mature. This is more like this is what I'm going to be doing. And so you're getting hands-on experience with something you're actually going to be using in your day-to-day life whenever you're in a practice of some sort. And you learn about all these disorders, you learn about everything, and some of them are bizarre to hear about. I'd never heard of them, and I feel like, that's kind of my thing, to read about these things and to learn about what other people are really going through in their life and what people go through every day that you might not even be able to wrap your mind around. And this helps you understand people on a much deeper level than what you did before you went into the class. So probably abnormal psych.
Well, I'm sure Dr. Lackey will be very happy to hear that.
She will probably thank me for that later.
Natasha, what are you hoping to do? I mean, you're going to be back next year for your senior year and taking some classes, but what are you hoping after graduation? Where do you want to go with your psychology background?
Well, I know I'm going to grad school. I'm looking around the area so I don't have to go too far. OSU, Marshall, stuff like that. But I've always said that I'm really, really interested in clinical psychology, which I am, but I'm also very, very interested in forensic psychology, because I was actually considering forensics instead of psychology whenever I was applying to colleges. So it would be a lot of extra schooling if I did both, but I love school, so I might very well end up doing both. Clinical and forensic go really well hand in hand.
It sounds like you have a great sense already of what your future holds, and that you will do a great job of mentoring other students through psychology and give them the community that you value so much. And so I just really appreciate hearing about your experiences, because you can tell as you're talking that you really value the psychology program in Rio, and it's very nice to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about it, and I would not still be here if it wasn't for the department.
It's good to hear that passion come through.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for meeting with us and talking to us about the Grad Forum, and I hope we see a lot of people there. It's tomorrow, and what time is it?
It's tomorrow at 4 p.m. in Bob Evans Farm Hall, room 118.
Great, thank you. I know I'll be there.
I hope to see everybody there. That we've had a lot of strong faculty members coming behind us and showing support, so I expect a good turnout tomorrow.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
One of the strengths of the psychology program also happens to be a lot of the student-faculty research that they do, that the psychology faculty promote and the students do a great job of. And so that I'm going to use as my segue into, we have an annual event here at RISE every year, as you know, called, at Rio, called RISE, the Research and Scholarship Exhibition. And it's an opportunity for faculty and students to work together. It's student research, but usually under the supervision of an advisor. And RISE gives the chance for our students to present that research to the larger Rio community. And it is in its 5th year. We're very excited about how it's grown every year. I think we have something like 68 individual projects this year. So I thought, Donna, maybe we could take the last, 7 or 8 minutes of our show today and take a look at some pictures and talk about some of the different kinds of projects that people will see at RISE. So we're going to start with posters. Now, you do a lot of poster presentations in the field of nursing. Do you want to talk about what makes a good poster?
Well, actually, I've done several poster presentations myself, and I started out very basic and have built on that. And we're very fortunate here at Rio to have a print shop who can do professional looking posters for us if we get our materials to them in enough time. But it's nice to have a poster that's aesthetically pleasing, so to have some color. And as we're looking at some of the posters that are on the screen now, you can see that they've used color. They've used words that are large enough that they can draw the reader in and draw your attention. Photos are always helpful as well, and to succinctly tell your reader what your project or your research is about, and then to be able to engage with your public, with the people who come and see your poster, and actually spend some time sharing a bit more as we see these students sharing information about their posters.
You know, one of the things that I think people sometimes don't realize is that these posters are up all day long. So we usually start at 9 in the morning. We run till 4 in the afternoon. And the posters go up first thing in the morning. Now this year our poster sessions will be 9 to 9:50. And I could be mistaken, but I think 1 to 1:50 in the afternoon. And so what happens is half the students will present in the 9 o'clock slot and half in the 1 o'clock. I think sometimes students think that they're going to do a poster, or people who attend RISE, and it's just going to be up and people will look at it. But I really appreciated what you said about the interaction. And each of the photos that we just showed show how the person who created the poster is there beside it for one of those sessions, explaining to people as they walk by and take a moment and are drawn in. And so with a poster session, you have both the poster that's created that talks about your project, but also you have to be able to verbally explain to an audience. And I think a poster presentation is a great opportunity for students to think on their feet, to be able to field questions. They get a lot of great experience in just that sort of one-on-one conversation. I love the poster sessions.
I think when you present a poster, you learn a lot too, because as people ask questions, sometimes it causes you to think, I hadn't really explored that avenue, but maybe next time I'll go down that trail a little bit and see what happens. So it's a great interaction between the people who come and view the posters and the people who present.
This year, I think we have something like 41 different posters. So this is by far our most popular format, but we also have the opportunity to do a panel. A panel can either be, and I'm going to hold it on this slide or this picture for a second. So you can see there are 3 people, and they're presenting papers that they've written. Now, sometimes panels are fully formed and they're submitted to RISE as one panel with anywhere from 3 to 5 students. Sometimes individual students will submit a proposal for a paper they've written, and then the RISE committee pairs them up as best fits their topic. And I will tell you, I can say, and I unfortunately can't remember all of them, but I'm pretty sure one of those in the picture there is history and one was English, but they had somewhat similar topics. And typically what happens in a panel is students will either read a paper that they've written or they will speak on a paper topic. So this shows you the first student was more sort of without notes and just speaking. This student is reading a paper, and you can see the audience is sitting there listening as the students read their paper. And a lot of times there's questions at the end, so maybe not as much interaction with the audience as a poster session, but still interaction. And we do posters in a variety of locations in the Fine Arts Building. So the first example was one of the classrooms, but we also do, panels, we also do them on the stage. So this actually is a panel of psychology majors from last year, and you can see that they were, or psychology students, they were on the stage. And incidentally, RISE is often the same day as rock ensemble, so what's set up behind is the rock ensemble And you can see that sometimes there is a visual element, so people will have a PowerPoint slide or they might not, and that is at the preference of the panelists.
I've had the opportunity to judge some of those panels, and they have been very impressive. Very well done.
Yeah, and we've actually got a lot of panels this year. We had some faculty who really wanted their students to present as panels. So we have a larger number of panels this year than we have in the past. In fact, normally we usually don't double up panels and poster sessions, and this year we had to. So when the program does come out, you'll see that there are at least 2 panels in every hour time slot.
That's wonderful. And then you also have performances, correct?
Yes. So last year there were, and this is the main performance that we had last year. So one of the faculty members, Dr. Vicki Crooks, teaches a class every spring, and it's a combination of acting and oral interpretation. And what's really cool about this particular group, and she does this every year, is the students in that class compile the performance. It's called Reader's Theater, and they do a combination of maybe song lyrics and written work, but also personal experiences, and it's around a theme every year, and they do Reader's Theater, which is what you see. But we've also had people read original poetry, and we also invite people to do musical performances, although that has not happened yet. I can tell you it may happen this year. So you can also do a performance. It's really a great opportunity to see what students have been working on. And it's not just projects that have happened this spring. Sometimes they're year-long projects. Sometimes it's where they are in multi-year projects. Sometimes it's a fall project that's being presented in the spring semester, and sometimes it's a spring project. Sometimes we'll even see the projects a couple of places. As you know from the honors presentations that have been happening on campus, a lot of those students present at RISE.
Right. And I've had the opportunity to work with a nursing student who will be presenting a poster, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And I watched that process. It's actually 2 students who have worked together through their research class and bringing this proposal to fruition. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch them present.
It is, and I'm so glad you mentioned that it doesn't have to be an individual project. It could be a group project. So I get really excited about RISE. Obviously, I was really excited to talk about it with you today, and I hope the campus enjoys it even half as much as I do. That'll be pretty good.
I'm sure they will. And we appreciate you joining us today, and join us again next month for another episode of Voice of Rio Grande with Donna and Heather.
See you next time.